வேண்டாம்.
So good morning, one and all present here. Happy to meet you again in this wonderful platform of webinar series. This is our 24th webinar and 7th by the Department of Organ of Medicine. Happy to welcome you once again. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sparing your time. Today we have with us Mr. Suresh Ramakrishnan, founder and creative director of Leverage Advertising. Thank you, sir, for joining here. I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank God for giving us this opportunity, and beloved management, CEO sir, CBO sir, dear principal sir, for giving us opportunity for conducting these webinars and this platform for studying and learning. I take this opportunity now to thank specially Dr. Vijayanand sir for introducing today's speaker. Thank you, Vijayanand sir, for giving us this wonderful speaker. And now, team, please take over for continuing the session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Vedanta, one of the 6 Vedic Indian philosophical schools, re-established the centrality of connection between human and universal soul, thus exposed the path for eternal truths. One such journey towards truth is the medicine of modern science that seeks to bridge the gap between human mind and soul. So today, we are about to revisit the same ancient methodology and its perspectives to analyze the relationship between mind, body, and medicine by the topic about gross, subtle, and casual body of human beings, an attempt to understand the connection between mind and medicine from the Vedanta's point of view. Now, Ms. Neerija will take over. Over to you, Neerija.
Thank you, Aisha. The soul should always stand ajar, ready to welcome the ecstatic experience. Yes, so now I request Dr. Srimati Ma'am, Medical Officer, Sri Sai Ram Homeopathy Medical College, to begin the session with the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neerija. Good morning to one and all. On behalf of Sri Sai Ram Homeopathic Medical College and Research Center, I take this opportunity to thank everyone for accepting our invitation. I heartily welcome our chief guest, Mr. Suresh Ramakrishnan sir, our CEO, Mr. Sai Prakash sir, CBO, Mr. Satish Kumar sir, Principal Professor Dr. Cheramanan sir, all teaching, non-teaching, medical officers, hospital staffs, interns, my dear students. I would like to extend my gratitude to our CEO sir, CBO sir, Principal sir, for encouraging us to conduct many webinars like this today. I welcome you all once again to this webinar, and I hope you all have a great time ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a distinguished speaker, Mr. Suresh Ramakrishnan, sir. He started his career as a salesperson in an outdoor advertising industry at the age of 20. He is now founder and creative director for Leverage Advertising, founder and chief trainer for Ikigai Training Academy. He has been the trainer on branding for students, entrepreneurs, psychodrama, and playback theatre. He has been a creative content writer and ad film director. He has been a qualified trainer from IITD India and has been a business consultant for a 1,000 crore company. He has introduced many workshops for students of various colleges, NGOs, employees, and business people. He has been a student and researcher of Vedanta for the past 23 years. He is now here to give a brief talk on gross, subtle, and causal body of human being, an attempt to understand the connection between mind and medicine from Vedanta's point of view. Sir, it is a pleasure having you. Over.
First of all, I would like to thank Sai Ram Medical College for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Dr. Vijayanand, Dr. Vijayanand, the chairman of the college, Mr. Sumati, and Mr. Justin. Sorry. Okay. Thanks for everyone. Thanks for coming. Now we are going to discuss Vedanta, the subject Vedanta, through which we are going to see the human anatomy. So medical sciences have given a lot of perspective about human anatomy, but Vedanta has a different perspective altogether. By seeing that, we may infer something which will be useful for our medical practice. That is the whole attempt of doing this. Are they audible to anyone? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Vedanta means, it has two words in it, Veda and Anta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. So it can be said as the culmination of knowledge or end of knowledge. There are four types of, in philosophy, Vedanta comes under philosophy. Even medical science also comes under belief system only. In philosophy, in four ways you can infer knowledge. One is pratyaksha, that is direct perception. If I am perceiving through my senses and understand it, I will accept it. This is one type of knowledge. Second one is inference. Inference means anumana. In Sanskrit, they call it anumana. What is inference? I see the smoke, therefore I conclude that there is fire. So similarly, through inferences, we learn a lot of things. With the existing knowledge, we approach the new knowledge. That is number two. Third one is upamana. Through examples, we get the knowledge. For example, we say he is like a lion. That means what? He is a brave person. So like through examples, we are trying to learn certain things. And the fourth one is agama, the scriptures. What is scripture for homeopathy students? The course material is the scripture. So it is written by the eminent people who know what it is. Therefore, we believe in it and we study. Vedanta is also one such scripture through which we can see the nature of a human being. Now, there are two types of knowledge in it. One is Paravidya and another one is Aparavidya. Any study you do in this world on the external, that means science, chemistry, biology, geography, history, whatever you study in this world, it all falls under Aparavidya. There is one more thing called Paravidya. This Paravidya is only to deal with the human being. So Vedanta comes under Paravidya. With this understanding, we will move on to the subject now. So today's topic is going to be gross, subtle, and causal body of a human being, an attempt to understand the connection between mind and medicine. Here, I'm not going to talk about how the medicine functions on the human body, because I am not the authorized person. In fact, you are all the authorized person to tell me how the medicine functions. But this mind and medicine, we can able to understand at the end of the session. It is like titration. Hope everybody have gone through titration. Can I get a yes, Y or something in the chat box so that I can see? Can somebody, have you done titration? Otherwise, I'll explain what is titration. Anything in chat box? Y, N. Even if you have not done, you can type N. Okay. So titration is done in a chemistry lab where two chemicals are combined. One from one beaker to another beaker, it will be dripping. So at one point of time, the color of the beaker, the chemical content will be changing. Similarly, by understanding the flow of thought in this program, we are going to understand how the mind and medicines are connected at the end only. So here we are going to talk only on pure Vedanta. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Vedanta says that human being is not just flesh, bone, and blood. It is a mix of matter and spirit. Matter means the gross body, what we have, and also the spirit, which is actually governing the gross body, which means it is propelling the gross body. Next slide, please. So we will discuss about the gross body. Can I get some answer? What do you mean by gross body? This body, what we have, what it is made out of? I need some participation. Please type in the chat box your understanding in one word or two words. Material. Very good. Indumati Ranga. Anyone else? Anyone else? Blood and tissues. Wonderful. Aisha. Blood and tissues. Anybody? Anyone else? Even doctors can answer. Doesn't matter. There is no right answer or wrong answer. Bones. Wonderful. Wonderful. Premji. Premi. Okay. Okay. Yes, of course, it is flesh and bone, blood, all put together. But to understand in a subtle way, we can call it as 5 elements. Do you agree with me? This body is made out of 5 elements. We will see how this body is made out of 5 elements. What happens when a person dies? The 5 elements, first we will see what is 5 elements: space, air, water, fire, and earth. So what happens when a person dies? The air goes off, the heat in the body, that is fire, goes off, the body, the flesh, bone goes to the ashes, or it goes to the earth again. The body merges into the space, and the water from the body oozes out. Hope everybody have seen this from a dead body, which means this body is made out of 5 elements. Panchabhutas, they say it in Sanskrit. Okay. And this body has a lifespan. It has a date of birth and date of death. So it is perishable. And it is tangible. This body is tangible. I can see my body right now, and you can also see your body right now. It is tangible. I can touch your body. You can also touch my body. It is tangible. Therefore, we call it as a gross. And it experiences pain and pleasure. They say, Adi Shankara says, it is a bhoga sadhanam. It is the equipment with which the mind enjoys or suffers through the body. Everything happens through the body only. So we will, with this understanding, we will move on to the next one. Next slide, please. Okay. What is this subtle body made out of? The subtle body has 17 equipments, says Shastras. One is mind, another one is intellect, that is buddhi, the 5 organs of perception, the 5 organs of action, and 5 pranas. We are going to see all these things in detail. And what is the difference between the subtle body and the gross body is, the subtle body you alone can feel. For example, what is mind? Mind is made out of thoughts. So who can able to feel the thoughts? You alone can feel the thoughts. Your thoughts, you alone can feel. I cannot feel your thoughts. So therefore it is called a subtle body. And the pranas, which is functioning within the body also, you cannot see. So intellect, we have a buddhi. We will see all this in detail. What is intellect? What is mind? All these things we will see in detail. So these 17 equipments are called subtle equipments, which is actually governing the body, uses the body. Can we move on to the second slide, please? Next one. Okay. So mind, we will see mind in detail. This mind has certain qualities and it functions on the body. So what in Vedantic term, we call it as senses. So rest of the spare parts are there in the body. Heart is there, brain is there. So many other parts of the bodies are there. But when we call it body in Vedantic term, we call it 5 senses. So what are the 5 senses? Eyes, nose, ear, taste, and touch. These are the 5 senses. So these equipments are not the ultimate. It is a faculty which has been used, but something else is functioning it. This ear has been functioned by mind through this sense organs. That is, the sense centers are located in the mind. For example, eye is here, but the sense center of the eye is located in the mind. Similarly, for the ear, nose, and to register the taste also, the sense center is located in the mind. So this is the understanding. So, okay. And now I'm going to talk about few characteristic feature of the mind. The mind always wanders from past and future. It worries about the past and it has the anxiety towards the future. So it never stays in one place. It is like a wild river. We can call it as a wild river. And it has certain qualities like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, macharya, and bhaya. Lust, anger, greed, delusion, arrogance, envy, and fear. To understand this, we can remember and recollect a story of Gladiator. How many of you have seen this movie called Gladiator? Can I get a quick yes? Why? You can type why if you have seen Gladiator. movie? Come on, come on. You can type yes or N. N, yeah, no, yes. Yes. I think most of them have seen this movie. Now, in the Gladiator movie, the son of the emperor, we can take him as an example. The son of the emperor wanted to take that kingdom, wanted to grab that kingdom, but he's not qualified. He's not qualified enough to take that kingdom. On the parallel, there is one general who hailed from a very poor family, but he has contributed a lot for that kingdom. The emperor, who is an old man, wanted this general to become his successor because he feels that he is more qualified to handle the kingdom. But the son of the emperor had the lust towards the kingdom, and the moment when he come to know that the kingdom is going to be given to the emperor, the general, he gets angry, and his greed is developing, and he got deluded. His mind is totally deluded. Therefore, he kills his father. The deluded mind doesn't know what it has to do. He kills his father, and he becomes very arrogant after becoming the emperor himself. But though he got the kingdom, he was envying about the general, because though he is not a big man, by seeing his mightiness, he becomes envy about it, and he fears that someday or the other we may lose this kingdom. So this is how the mind functions. And mind always gets gravitated to the negativeness. You all can experience this. If I give a piece of paper to you and write what all your enjoyment you have done so far in your life, what all the happiest moments you have gone through in your entire life, on one side of the paper, on the other side of the paper, you write what all the bad moments you have gone through. Which one will be more? Again, I need some answer from you all in the chat box. On the one side, I'm asking you to write, yes, negatives. Come on, everybody can contribute, yes. Which one will be more? Of course, you can recollect positivity. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the response. It is predominantly the negative only. See, that is why this media and other things are feeding your negativity. The moment you open the Facebook, the moment you open the WhatsApp, what you get is only negative news. Even to give a positive news, they are using the captions in a negative form. So that is the situation here. The mind always gravitates to the negativity of it. Because of the long association of sorrow and suffering, the mind associates with the negativity. So these are all the functionings of mind. So here what we need to understand is the senses by itself is not functioning. The senses receive the stimuli and the sense centers process it. So with this understanding, we will move on to the next slide. Okay. So mind is subtler than the body. We have seen it. And the pranas are subtler than the, the pranas are subtler than the body, and the mind is subtler than the pranas. Now we will see what is pranas made out of. There are actually 10 pranas. For technical reason, we will see only these 5 pranas. The pranas controls 5 perception. We saw just now the sense centers, the 5 sense of perceptions are controlled by pranas. Apana is the faculty of excretion. What is excretion? Urine, feces, sperm, respiration, and sputum. Okay, so these are controlled by apana. What is samana? The food which you eat are digested by this samana prana only. And vyana, the digested food is being circulated throughout the body for the energy purpose. So that is called vyana. Udana is the faculty of thought absorption. For example, now I am talking to you, you are all receiving the thoughts. This is happening because of this Udana prana only. If your Udana Shakti is more, you can able to grasp more. If it is less, you will be able to grasp a little only. And this Udana Shakti is for the other purpose also. What is it? It is the element with which the immunity is developed. It takes care of the immunity also. So can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, intellect. We saw that mind is the governing factor of the sense centers, of the perception. Sense centers, sense objects are received through the sense centers, and then mind process it. Here, the intellect is taking care of the karmendriyas, that is the organs of action. Similarly, the karmendriyas are speech, number 1, hands, legs, anus, and genital. These are all the functions which has to be done through intellect. That is why it is kept in this form. So the sense centers of these karmendriyas, the organs of action, are kept in the intellect. Okay. Now we will see what is the functionings of the intellect. The main core function of intellect is thinking, reasoning, and contemplating. We receive a stimuli. For example, you see an ice cream, it goes to the sense centers of the mind and it creates an urge into you, and the intellect is deciding whether to have it or not based on your health condition. This is how the process happens. I give you another example. You see an apple on the table, your eyes sees it, it goes near, your hands are touching it. By touching it, you understand that it's a real apple. If it is a plastic apple, you would know by the touch, and by the sight itself, somebody will know whether it's a plastic apple or not. And then the impulses goes to the intellect, and then the intellect decides whether to have this apple or not. This is how the entire functions happens, through the body, sense, that is senses, and the mind and the intellect. So what is this intellect functions are? It is the main faculty for judgment, and it governs the other subtle bodies also, like pranas, and mind are governed by the intellect only. In fact, the body, mind, and pranas are governed by intellect. It has the total control over the entire body. That is why in Vedanta, the entire exercise is to strengthen this intellect only. The Vedas, the studies, everything. People think that it's all about Vedanta, it's all about praising the God and all. Only when you go into the subject, you will know that the entire process, Vedanta, the scriptures, everything is to strengthen this intellect so that you can lead a happy life unattached to the happenings of the world. So we'll move on to the next slide, please. Okay, this is causal body. Causal body is subtler than the intellect, mind, prana, and the gross body. The causal body is very mysterious. So far, we have not understood the causal body in a very in-depth way, but it says that it has the root causes of the gross and subtle bodies. And it has, what it has is vasanas. What is vasana means? Your unsatiated, unmanifested desires are stored in the causal body. That is what Vedanta says. But intellect cannot penetrate into the causal body because intellect is grosser compared to the subtle body, sorry, the causal body. So what it is made out of, nobody knows. But it is for sure that all your memory, the other word of causal body is chitta. The chitta is like a storehouse. It is like a hard disk in which all your memory imprints are stored in the causal body. So to understand this causal body, we need to understand the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper state. So what is waking state? Right now, we are in waking state, I assume, most of you. The waking state is right now, when we go to sleep, we go through dreams, right? We go through dreams, and in between, there will be a sound sleep where there are no dreams. There will be absolute stillness. Sometimes you may wonder, I felt like just now I went to the sleep, but I don't know how the morning happens. So it was, you feel that the sleep was very, very small, very, very brief. That shows that you went on a deep sleep. So whatever you're experiencing without any thought in the deep sleep, that can be denoted to the causal body. It's all happening because of the causal body only. So with this understanding, we'll move on to the next slide, please. I need a volunteer to read this. Can someone from the team read it for me, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Atma Bodha, verse 11. The gross body, the medium through which the soul experiences pleasure and pain, is determined by past action and formed out of the 5 great subtle elements, which become gross when 1/2 portion of one subtle element becomes united with 1/8 of each of the 4.
Please read the next verse also.
Okay, sir. So, slide change one.
The next slide. Next slide, please.
Atma Bodha, verse 12. The subtle body, the instrument of the soul's experience, consists of the 5 pranas, the 10 organs, the manas, and the buddhi, all formed from the rudimentary elements before their subdivision in combination with one another.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So what it says is, since we all know that the gross body is made out of 5 elements. Now what Adi Shankara says in Atma Bodha is, the subtle elements like pranas, mind and intellect are also made out of 5 elements. So it's very beautiful. So far we don't know what it is. It is intangible and all these things, but he says that it is also made out of 5 elements. So we will see how it is made out of 5 elements. In the next slide, we are going to see the Panchakarna chart. In this Panchakarna chart, you see space, air, fire, water, earth. Okay. The first tabular column, what you see is Tanmantra state. That is before grossification. You don't have to worry about it. By the end of this explanation, you will come to know what is Tanmantras. So what happens is, from the subtle to the gross, the elements are going to convert itself into grossification. So how it grossifies is, first, it divides into 2 halves. That is, if you take space, 50% space is divided into 50-50. Okay. The tabular column 3 is becoming 1/2 of space, and the other 4 are 1/8, that is 12.5%, 12.5%, 12.5%, 12.5%. What are the 12.5%? All the tiny things what you see in the tabular column, 3 and space is the other 4 elements. That means space 50%, and the other 12.5% into 4 is air, fire, water, earth. So what they say is the space what you are experiencing now is not just space alone. It is not 100% space. It also has the other 4 elements. Can we try to understand this now? I will give an example. For the rest of the other 4 elements, we can actually discuss. The space has, okay, as per the Panchakarna, the space is there. So what I am waving now, I am waving my hand. This is the space between the camera and myself. We all know what is humidity. Katril Irapadam, they say no, humidity. What humidity has? Water and heat, right? So this has water and heat also. How come earth is there in the space? We can call it as dust, right? Dust particles are there all over. Water we have covered. Air, the wind blows. So it is not just space, it also has the other 4 elements. Now we will try to understand for fire. I want you all to contribute how the other 4 elements are there in fire. Can we get it on chat box, please? Oxygen, wonderful, wonderful. Oxygen. Oxygen contributes water and also contributes fire, right? Okay, please try. Even if it's a wrong answer, you made an attempt. There is no such thing called wrong answer, first of all. That is the reason on the fire, if you pour water, it will burn more sometimes. Okay. So similarly, in air, fire, water, earth, it is 50%, and also it has the other 4 elements. That is what they are saying. So we will move on to the next slide now. Okay, so this explains the formula of it. 12%, 50% space, 1/8 of air, 1/8 of fire, 1/8 of water, 1/8 of earth. And the gross air has 50% of air, 12.5% of space, 12.5% of fire, 12.5% of water, 12.5% of earth. Now, I'm not going to read the entire thing now. I will leave it to you. You find out the answer for this. How it is possible? How on air the other 4 elements are combined? How on the earth? So earth is also, I will explain earth now. Earth, the entire earth has water, the sea and river. And where is the fire? Can you tell me where is the fire in earth? It is very interesting. Come on, please. Yes, beautiful. Harini nailed it. Volcanoes, yes, earth crust. Wonderful, Pavitra. So all the 5 elements has the other 4 elements also in it. So that is the core idea of it. Now, please move on to the next slide. Okay. Before grossification, these 5 elements are in Tanmantra state, that is in this subtle form. That is, it is as a subtle space, subtle air, subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth. That is what these 2 verses of Atma Bodha which we saw says. Okay. Now, what is the conclusion? The 5 elements which you saw in the gross is also there in the subtle bodies. What are the subtle bodies which we saw? Pranas, mind, and intellect. So you need to understand now how the interaction and functioning happens between the mind and the body. So with this, I'm concluding. Before that, I would like to talk about the dream state. In dreams, all solid things what you experience are all the thought process only. The thoughts are making the, you hit something and you get the pain also in the dream. So all these things exactly like the waking state is happening in the dream state, but all these dream things are happening only in the thought level. Now, according to the Tanmantras, what is this mind made out of? What is the thoughts made out of? It is also made out of 5 elements only. So with this, I've concluded. Next slide, please. With this, I'm concluding it. Thanks for the opportunity. Now we can discuss on with the question answers, if there are any.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us by sharing your knowledge. Now, I would like to call our principal, Dr. P. Cheramanan, sir, to share a few words about the webinar. Over to you, sir.
I'm very much thankful to our sir as a chief guest
Thank you.
for this occasion. Very much thankful, sir. Because we have one special subject, there is an organ of medicine. Because in this organ of medicine, the same thing, what you show, that mind and body cannot be separated. So instead of studying the mind, we just dealing with the soul. That is called as our vital force. So our vital force is the, you told, matter. It is our material body. So one and the same like that one. So you repeat the same thing. And also just you show one paragraph. In our,
Yes,
we also having that organ book. I also told my friend Vijayanand to show that book to you. Actually, it is also what you told, no? Even though it is Vedanta, like, okay, but this is also written by our master. So definitely our students are very much impressed by your topic, sir. So in this section, I'm very much thankful you for sparing the time for us, sir. I'm also very much thankful to my friend Dr. Vijayanand to bring such a great person as a chief guest for us today's seminar. And also I'm very much thankful to Dr. Jerin sir and the team for the arrangement.
Dr. Jerin, I missed his name,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, he only takes much, Jerin sir only much takes it. And also I'm very much thankful to our students, interns, and also my dear teaching staff for this occasion. Once again, I'm very much thankful, sir. We will call you back, definitely. You just give this, because we also say deal the same thing in our subject, sir.
Yes, sir. Truth is always perceived by different people.
Yeah.
Truth means it is all pervading.
Yeah.
Somebody in Germany will know the same truth. Somebody in India will also know the same truth.
Because certain things are in our life cannot be explained, only experienced, sir.
Yes.
So
sir,
this is one of the example like that sweetness.
Yes.
Okay. Very much thankful for you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from students?
It is following, sir. It is there, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have a polling session. I request the viewers to answer the questions. The time limit for polling session is 1 minute.
Oh, this is for me?
For the audience, sir.
Okay.
Polling over.
We thank all for patiently answering the question. Now, moving on to the question and answer session, I request Aisha to take over.
Thank you, Nisa. Sir, we would like to ask a few questions which are from our students. Sir, the first question we have is, can we be able to control the subtle expression, sir?
When you say subtle expression, it is in the intellect level or mind level?
So you can say both, sir, because we have both the questions also, sir.
Actually, the gross can never influence the subtle. which
Yes,
means
sir.
the body can never influence the mind, prana, or the intellect. Only the gross, the subtle can influence the gross body. That is why the entire thing is happening. See, because the mind is suffering, the mind has some hallucination and all this mental torture is suffering. Because of that, the body is also suffering. We get a lot of ailments, butterflies in the stomach. So
Yes,
many
sir.
other symptoms are seen in the body. The mind is suffering, but the body is going through all the pain.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, if Vedanta is about strengthening the intellect, is there any way to strengthen the mind?
Actually, mind is denoted as a negative aspect when it comes to the Vedanta subject. Why? It is because mind is nothing but raha dvesha, that is likes and dislikes. Anything you see in this world, anything you perceive in this world, either you like it or dislike it. So intellect, so for example, a person is going through some ailment, and he's supposed to drink a very bitter medicine. The mind will not accept it. The mind will say, I will not drink it. I will not take that medicine. But the intellect will say, this only if you have this medicine, your body will be cured. So have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we are having a question from Harini, third year. So her
Yes.
question is, does various states are really related with Panchabhutas, sir? Can you share your thoughts on them, sir?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
can see it. Does various states
Yes,
are
sir.
taste are really related with the Panchabhutas? So actually taste happens and the mind registers. It's a stimuli which is coming from the world. The interpersonality, the subtle body operates through through the senses only. See, here we say, when we say senses, we call it body. We call it body, we call it sense. So the senses, through senses only, it's a window for the world. So we receive the stimuli. So, and the sense centers are receiving it and then giving the instruction to the intellect. So this is how it goes. So taste is to do with the sense only, the mind only.
Yes, sir.
After tasting, the mind says either I like this or dislike it. So prana's functions are different. But though we say the subtle the gross cannot influence the subtle, the pranas, what we say, can, by using the prana, we can able to get the mind into the track. That is why we do all this pranayama and all these things. So prana has nothing to do with the taste. It has to do with the mind only.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how can we balance the pranas?
By pranayama, we can balance the prana. We can increase the udana shakti, that is the immunity and the thought absorption process. Everything is through pranayama we can do. There are so many varieties of pranayama. One proven tested method is alternate breathing. If you do alternate breathing for few days continuously, you can able to see the difference, and you can balance the Panchabhutas, the 5 elements, in a proper way through doing the pranayama.
Thank you, sir.
And more than anything, what you have to do is know the facts of life, the laws of life, so that the intellect understands the impermanence of this life. Therefore, a human being becomes more happy.
Thank you so much, sir,
Thank you.
for patiently answering our question. Always have an attitude of gratitude. So, to express the gratitude on behalf of Department of Organon of Medicine, I request Dr. Shanmati Ma'am, Medical Officer, Sri Sai Ram Homeopathy Medical College and Research Center, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neeraja. Good morning to one and all present here. First of all, I thank God Almighty for giving me this wonderful opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. I would like to thank our chief guest of the day, Mr. Suresh Ramakrishnan, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. I also thank our college management, our beloved CEO, Sai Prakash, sir, CBO, Satish Kumar, sir, Principal, Professor and HOD of Organ of Medicine, Dr. Keramanan, sir, and a special thanks to Dr. Vijayanand, sir. I also thank our program coordinator, Dr. Jerin, sir, technical support, Arun, comparing team, Premi, Aisha, Neeraja, technical support, Srinivasan, sir, poster designer, Jambunathan, sir, and I also thank all my beloved teaching staff, non-teaching staff, medical officer, hospital staff, interns and students. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. The best investment we can do is to invest in ourselves via learning. Let us learn and grow together. We thank the management for their needy support in this webinar, and also we thank each and everyone who attended this session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, you can end the call because
Okay.
you are the host, so you can end it.
Okay, sir. Okay. I'll leave.
Thank you, Suresh.